Dorje Changkya
Changkya
Tene ta tanda jirdu sajiga ondu se na ji tup ji tomba zalwe chul se tahin ji ne ji pa ka ripa la tene chu ji yenji ne lu de kante do tawa jai ta toni ngan som tong tong chul la su pa saji ya na yo re la di na ne ji tup ji tomba zalwe chul de ta ta no nga du cha la hu ne ta tanda Tong ten jung ripa la tene ten la papa ke cholte kwa ta ngi chuji enje nelu ke ta la ngi chepar chi pe ke cholte tanong ha du cha le hubare la tene ta tanda tanda toni ngan som tong ke cholte hya re la tene ta te la tangbo 다 지당 그 못된다보다 다단다 조신가 못된다보다 소신가 못된다고 기라 난게요 말해라 동보 따지시 지보게 다형가 리발라테네 우먼리바 텐솔라테네 테네 돈이게 타나 니히지 니히게 테네 고아야 보지지 고아지네 테네 ten dato ichi rabu ji tene te tene tene ta tanda topa chepar chi jila ji ne toni ke tanga samta zikpe ke cholte suwa insarela te na ne tombo ta te kuwa yapo chi pe ke cholte yon tapa tawan tong go ne tong ten jung sunju ke kuwa la yik chol ta kuwa yapo chi pa te Chiriyang madrupe jemi ama Chiriyang zoaya parten tsorten daga zanghe la gojundo go se tate tong tenjung sunjuk gudang la teni pe kuwa kal chenpo do suwana yiswani.
In terms of the topics of this song, the first part of the first topic of this is explaining the way of searching for emptiness through the power of analysis, how it is that we can use our logic and inference to find out what is it that the Dharma nature is like, what is it that the nature of all phenomena is like, what is emptiness, and so using emptiness to realize to realize how interdependence and emptiness are. It's developing a good understanding. That's how to get a good real certainty of this. And so that, and how to develop the certainty in the nature of dharmas, in the phenomenal nature. So that is what we discussed this morning. And so what we have next, now we have the explaining the way of directly seeing emptiness. And so that's not, when we say directly seeing emptiness, this doesn't mean seeing emptiness. It's not like having a pointing out, as in, like the Mahamudra, pointing out instruction, or the Dzogchen pointing out instruction. That's not what is said here. Rather, first it talks about how we use inference to figure it out, how we use the logics, the inference of the texts, and the philosophy to really develop real certainty in emptiness, to have a really good understanding of emptiness. And then we have the confidence of that, the belief in that. And then in addition to that, we are able to realize that we are able to develop the realization of emptiness. And so that is what it means here through seeing emptiness directly. And so the first thing we need to do is we need to develop a really good understanding, to develop the real understanding, the certainty in that. And what's most important to understand is how the union of emptiness and interdependence, how these are unified. And so this is discussed at the verse on the top of page 8 of your booklet. My inexpressible mother, not established as anything whatsoever, deceptively manifesting as anything whatsoever. You lean back and forth. Just this is to be understood, or perhaps deceptively manifesting as anything whatsoever, everything depending upon each other. This is to be understood.
Tene tateya chiriya madrup jemi ama sundu tela chiriya madrup sedu tene tangbo tangbo tangji dembar trupa yina tapentala lungare tene tate chen me pa che yin tene te chep tal no re tene ta shi ni chen ta len de pa ye pa yung mai me pa yung mai ni ka mai pa te chriya ma du pa tene khang du yung ma du pa tene te tabu ma du pe tene jet me pa ama se du chu chi yen ji ne lu te tanda kunzu tendir je no anda char yendo tene tanda tomba yin chopa tomba yin yendo la kunzu tendir je no char to ruwa tachitang kowa ga ondo se na ngarancho tanda kunzu no anda yep kapsala dembar chupa anda bota te no anda tomba mayin panda bote tene te tomba la tu du kunzu no anda mepa anda bote che non va chiaro dati ton non aton kunzu ko non aton chuni tendang ko tomba ni tengal de batava che tongi orete inna yo tendang benelu la teta ba che revesi na mare tanda ngaranso la non ba na so ba charge yore de char yendola tanda ra tomba imba tene tanda ngo tomba imba tene ngo tomba yen yendola tene ngo tomba yen no me hiba ji revesi na mare tanda ngo tomba yen yendola tanda tongi yorela teacher na dan kepa kai ki sona non su ma hyor yen yimi tawa se no ate char yendola no kurang no ate cha sama dang yore te char yendola ti ngo te tomba tanda tombare tanda tene ngo tomba yen tong su ma hyor yen tenjung gapa me par charse tomba te ngo yen tomba te chasa koran tan de yendola tene ti tenjin driver jung te chasa chargi yore teacher na cheyo ma pe jemi ama so
I'm talking about my inexpressible mother, not established as anything whatsoever. So she's not established as anything, she's inexpressible. So not inexpressible, so by saying that she's not established as anything, then we are freed from the extreme of permanence, of thinking that she's truly established as something. But by saying that she can appear as anything whatsoever, we escape the extreme of nihilism either, and so we transcend either extreme of either nihilism or eternalism. We can't say that she's something. We can't say that she's nothing. We can't say that she's both. We can't say that there's neither. She can't be proven to be anything, be established as anything at all. And because she cannot be established or proven as anything, it's inexpressible. And so this is the way the Dharma nature is. And while at the same time as we have all these appearances of relative interdependence, they all happen, but at the same time, they are also emptiness. And at the same time as all these appearances are empty, all the relative interdependence still continues. So the way we normally think about things, we think, okay, these relative interdependence appearances that I see now, they are truly established, they're real. But if we actually look at that, is that how they really are ultimately? It's not. But they aren't established as anything, and yet they can still occur. They occur as anything. And right now, at the same moment that they are appearing, they are also emptiness. They're empty is essence. But while they're empty of essence, does that mean that they're not allowed to appear? It doesn't mean that. At the same time as things are empty, they can still appear. So this is why many great scholars say that at this when things appear, because the appearances can't be established, we do not fall to the extreme of appearances. So when things appear, they do appear to us, but their essence is empty, and because of that, they cannot be established as being anything. We don't fall to an extreme, and that the scholars continue. Although they're empty, the emptiness cannot be. We don't fall to the extreme of emptiness. emptiness either. So at the same time as things are empty, it's also okay for everything to appear. Because of interdependence, everything can occur. And so this is why it's my inexpressible, undescribable mother.
Tene ta te yang do yin to so na tene sonji jam den den non ji tin to xiong yu rong ma jong yu rong chu tam ji ji chu ni nin jro ma pa yin su chu tam ji ngo rang yin ji tong ba re la tong ba yin ba de sonji jam den de ji tong ba ni re sun du tong ni den jro ro ju ya pa de sanji jam den den ji tin to ma jan ne tong ba ni re se ne ngo ten ki me pe ka so la ngo po chu top dem bar to ban da bo ji re bi se na tin re ma re sanji jam den den ji tin to sha na yung rong ma jan na yung rong tong be chu so ne tong ni de ten na yung rong tong ni de ma ten na yung rong de chu tam ji ge chu ni de la ye ne rang kin ji ma to pe tong ba ni re la tong ba ni de ta chi yung ma to pa ne je me ama ge ne lu de chu ji yin ji ne lu de de tar do de ne na chua per nang aran so lo ma chu ge tong ni do to na yung chu ni ni ta lan jro wan ro ge yo ar be se na ta ran re la tong ni do ma to na yung chu ni ge ta de ta ran yin be che na je yung ma to pe je me ama yin na ya 지리용 조아의 파르틴 소틴시도 다티 지용 마르베 돈이 추지 연지 레데 이나요 딩오데 지리용 조아세도 티니 넘바 나초선 차르와 데와 동아 녀몬바 가두크 샘라소바 넘바 나초선 차르와 데 지용 조아예 파르틴 소르틴 순지텔라 파르텐바테 타탄다 노안데 차르주요 바테 가나테네 제기요레세나 tini ngo rangin ji tomba imba la tene danda tanong shoki shubare la pare to tsurinda boje yena pare ta te koju yeba tsurila sena yung koju yeba te ta imbe cherna tini pare temba te toni imba la tene ngo rangin ji madu pala tene tini pare rindu tsuriregi yeba tsuririndu pare regi yeba ta tende jirela tene tate parten se du toni imbe nela tene toni imba te chorten se du tela toni imba la tene jeong madupa tene jeong manoa tene namkha tongba la te de pa nagin ta jitin de jeong madupa lo dogre bese na mare tendre je no namba na chupa hyagi yore mada pa tendre je no hyagi yore top tendre je no ta number ta na number top tendre je no hyarji ya pa to number mada na mada pa tendre je no charji ya pa partin churtin te kunzup la tene tan tamba la tene kunzup daga zamke la gojun do go ta ti ko de ya po je je na no tong tong ba song jun ju ba senkin de ta tende je la go ge yore so ni.
This is as is said in the sutras, where it says, whether the Buddhas appear in the world or not, the nature of all phenomena is unchanging. So the nature of all phenomena is emptiness. And we might wonder, okay, now the Buddha appeared in the world and the Buddha proclaimed that everything is emptiness and then everything became emptiness. Is that how it is? It's not like that. Or it's not like if the Buddha did not appear in the world and did not teach that things were emptiness, then there really would be things that truly exist. Is that how it is? That's not how it is. Whether the Buddhas appear in the world or whether the Buddhas don't appear in the world, the nature of all phenomena, the emptiness of all things, is the same. Whether the Buddha says all phenomena are emptiness, and whether the Buddha teaches the Dharma and doesn't say that, the nature of all phenomena from the very beginning has been emptiness. And so this is inexpressible. And so the inexpressible mother is like this. This is how it happens. And we might think, it's the same with all of the students. If we realize that the emptiness, the Dharma expanse, then does that make it empty? It doesn't. It's if we don't realize it, does that mean that it's not empty? It doesn't mean that. It's always been the same. But But the empty expanse, my inexpressible mother deceptively manifests as anything whatsoever, everything depending upon each other, and so this, it's not established as anything, but this which is not established as anything whatsoever can occur as many various things. It can occur as happiness and pleasure. It can occur as unhappiness and displeasure. It can happen as joy. It can occur as pain. It can happen as anything at all. And so everything depends upon each other. And so when everything depends upon each other, and we think about things depend on something else, well, what we're saying here is that everything depends upon emptiness. So the way everything appears, how is it when things appear? How is it that they are? Well, their essence is empty. And so if we realize that, then so saying that everything depends upon something else, they depend upon emptiness. And it's because of emptiness that everything can appear. It's like I was discussing this morning. When you talk about here and there, it's just because we say here that we can say there over there, and vice versa. There's no real here and there. And so here, this is what is meant when we're saying that everything depends upon each other. And then, yet that also depends upon, the other depends upon the each as well. You know, one depends upon the other depends upon the one. And so when we say the other depends upon the one, then that empty essence also depends upon the relative appearances. So one depends upon the other. This is the point about the emptiness, and then the other depends upon the one. It's because it's not that emptiness is nothing at all. That's not established as anything. It's not. It cannot be established as anything, but it's not nothing at all. It's not like the voidness of space. All of the interdependence can happen. We can have the impure interdependence or the pure interdependence. When we purify our perception, we see pure interdependence. When we haven't purified our perception, we see impure interdependence. So one depends upon another. The ultimate depends upon the relative depends upon the ultimate. And in just this, there is something to be understood. We just need to understand this union of appearance and emptiness.
Tene tateya tate kandi koji yoresena pagin salwe mani pate magin yepa ko imbarandu be ta pagin sena ta tanda kapkala ta kunzup tendirgen hoatela jojo sungri yore kapkala pagin sungri yore ta te kunzup tendirgen hoala kogi yore la kunzup tendirgen hoaton toni tendam ke demba ni di nyamdo yepa tembe ke certo pagin te kunzup tendirgen hoatela tsalne ta te ngupo Dembar trupa ngupo toni mahin pati kawato tsalwe mani pati tini nyegi yo mare tate yang perna tandang kuma sanji jomdin de hyaliki pakapsalam doi nune hinta nomdinga ripasang yo arela hinta nomdinga ripasang de perna yenlo tsu nangla hinta hini jepatar se perna hinta ta tikaptana la tini hinta la pechi sini tene pachu pegi yorela tene te peba indu te hinta senke te kandiri sena yenlo te kullo ndabota sohin ndabota chu ndabota tinyendu sa ta tene la kandi la hinta resena kullo hinta resena kullo hinta mare kullo re ta dita indon kullo ni nyom da jarzi ke sohin te hinta resena hinta mare tene te tanda koran sohin jubat nana jay yore ta titena desi ki chala yasa to mendusa ti hinta ribisine te mare koran te mendusa kuja anda boji yore teacher na hinta nguni te kawado te na ta te hinta drinking ke ta te hinta ribisine mare koran ta te teacher na hinta nguni te kawado te na yo mare la te zalna hinta te kawado te na tene te nyegi yo mare pe te yendo ta tinsanga kapsali ina ngaranzo motor tangi yorela motor tang kapsala mota sinke te kawado te na kollo te motor rivesina mare kora rubber ko gurje yorela Tene Tejando, Indian Tenzo, Tene Mota Rebesina, Mota Mare, Corajato, Raboje, Kashi, Yore. That in days the Toji said, Mota de Niegio Mare la. Tenete Mani Pate, consultant Noatati, Mani Naya. Tela Mambo Chunzomni, Muni Yomare, the Inaya, Mambo Yom the Yodu Deli, yet the bear Nambanda Yore. Tela Tendril Segior. Dorna Pagin Salvin, Mani Pati, Kunzu Tendril Ngupote, Mota Yendo, Ngupo Kante Inayo, Ngupo Toman, Dupu Kombuji in Bicherna, Tinitsalna, Tinidodu Sinia Yomare, la Nata Tela. Tanda Papa Ludrukusana, Tender Chim, Tensi, Tela, Tene, Chuanda Watimoto, Atene, Tombo, Ni, some Mambo, Zomne, Tinitela, Tene, Chuatimato, Mubu, Dodon Rabote, Tene Chipurtubachi, Zawani, Mepa Tela, Tene, Pagente, Kunzup Tender, Noa Tela, Salne, Manipate, Tenete Mota Tiegi Omare, Tamota Cavato Tena. Tene Magin Yepaco in Bantuta, Tony Tini Ungior, Chuni Tantam Tonite, Te Manipa, Tene Magin Yepaco in Bantuese, Tene Magin Tantam Chuji Yenti, Tatana Liore, Tig Nuponum Dember Matupala Tene, Tene Chutam Chiki Chuni Tantam Jetempate, Niegiore, so.
And so how is it that there's something to understand in that? Well, this is here as it says, not finding my old father by searching for him means nothing but finding my old mother. So here the example, or the comparison, the personification of the relative interdependence is a father. Sometimes it's a big brother and sometimes it's dad. Here it is dad. So here dad represents the relative interdependence. And so when we look for the relative interdependence, not finding my old father by searching for him, we look for him. When we look for these, when we try to see, is there something in these that, when we look for them, is there something there that is true, that is singular, there's this thing that is there that's not empty that we can have? Well, we can't find anything. It's like the Buddha said, and the Buddha gave the example of the cart. The example of the cart, that's when you look at a cart, you cannot find anything that you can actually say is really a cart. But this was back in ancient times. So in ancient times, they talked about these horse-drawn carts as the example. And I don't know if any of you have seen any of them these days, but the carts, you have wheels and you have axles and you have the bed and all these things. And so you've got wheels on the car. And you might look at these wheels and you think, are these wheels the cart? No, they're wheels. They're not a cart. And then you think, okay, well then there's the axle that connects the two wheels. Is that the cart? That is not the cart either. And then you think about, well, okay, is the wagon bed and the seat for the driver, is that the cart? That's not the cart either. That's the seat for the driver. That's the wagon bed where you can put the things. That's not the cart. And so you look at all of these different parts of the cart, and when you look at all the different parts of the cart, you can't find anything that's just the actual cart itself. And then you might think, well, is the horse that is pulling the cart, is that the cart? That is not the cart either. That is a horse. And so where is this cart after all? It's not anywhere. You can't find the cart anywhere. And so these days, we don't use carts anymore. We use cars. And so we use cars, and you might look at a car, and with a car you can do the same analysis. Is the tire the car? The tire is not the car. The tire is rubber. Is the engine the car? The engine is not the car. The engine is just a whole bunch of pieces of metal that are sort of put together somehow. You can't really find any. You look for the car in all of these parts, and you can't find them anywhere. And so you can't find them. That's the way the relative interdependence works. It's just many different things that are brought together, many different things that are combined. There's not anything actually there. But But because you combine a whole bunch of different things, then it's as if there were something there. And that is what we mean when we say interdependence. So here, we not finding my old father by searching for him. It's like just like the car. All of the things, the relative things, when we look for them, we try to look and see, well, is there some sort of a real, solid, singular thing there? We can't find it anywhere. This is why Nagarjuna taught the great logic of interdependence. Everything is just dependent upon one another. And so you may have two or three or a whole bunch of different things that are brought together, but you won't be able to find, there's no way you can ever find any singular, certain, definite, real thing there. And so when we look for Dad, interdependent appearances, we can't find him anywhere. And not finding him, so not finding my old father by searching for him means nothing but finding my old mother. So when we look in that and we can't find anything in there, then that exactly right within that is where we find the nature of all things. So things cannot be truly established, and we cannot find them. And when we see that, that is how we find our mother, find the emptiness that is the nature of all phenomena.
Tene ta te tabu charawala tene ama pone ne paginye be pama tinjinji po nga joke se tene ta te tanda ten kunzup tendir no ate mani bate tendang toni ngore tendang toni ngote kani nyege yore sena tene kunzup tendir no ate cha chawati madupala tene nyege yore la tene ama toni ge pone tene pagin tendir je no ate nyeba ta te toni imbala tene tendir imbala tene toni ta tene sungi yore la tong tenjung songdun jupa ta tene sungi yore la tene tong tenjung songdun jupa te jetawa yimdo hi jetawa yimdo to tene jetawa yimdo ngihi je na tene pama tenjinji po nga joge tene pama nipo te nyomdo nzomne po nga korwa dungar ji jansu chenpo le jobde tene chuni tendong je nelu jetawa yimdo tombo kwa gatene ngihi je ju yeba tene te je so gomba gatene samho je ju yeba toni ngihi je ju yeba ta tela tene pongsa nyemon batanji pomba toji yenten tamji jeba teta bunjong ne tene ponga korwa dunga ji jansu chembondele jobgi yore la tene teta tene jobati hakogu yore.
And so, how is it that this works? It's that through spotting my old father on the lap of my mother, I hear that I, their child, am protected by these kind parents. And so, when we look for the relative interdependence but do not find it, that is the essence of ultimate emptiness. And where do we find that? We find this just because the relative appearances, the relative interdependence cannot be established as anything. And so it's in the lap of our mother, emptiness, that our father, the interdependent appearances, is. And so at the same time as things, because of interdependence, things are empty. Because of emptiness, things are interdependent. So the emptiness and the interdependence are unified. And when we realize that emptiness and interdependence are unified, we realize that as it is, and we develop the certainty in that, then that is when our parents can practice. So I hear that I, their child, am protected by these kind parents. That we are protected from the ocean of suffering of samsara by both of these kind parents. And so first, we have the ultimate nature of the Dharma nature, and we first develop an understanding of that. We develop some certainty in it, and then on the basis of that, we meditate. We have real meditational experience and certainty in that, and through that, we are able to eliminate all of the afflictions that we need to eliminate. We are able to develop all the qualities that we need to develop. And so that is how we are protected. And so that is what we need to understand.
Tene ta te ya chitang ge tomba ni se du jiang me pa da bo je la go ge nian ka yo re la. Tene te jiang me pa je la go na de ge yo ma re. Jiang me pa je la go ge nian ka yo pa de pe na ngara nguma namba sang ji pa ma yin pe me je to ni. Tene cherang ka re se nga namba ge ta ba ji re se du a namba sang ji pa seng ke te ya po ma re. Tene chitanga tambe chu singite meya ya popa cheya tene me te popa chimbo zone tene shawa kanga drup to baji zobu jire nangba sanji pal tende kanya la ya yo mare nangba sanji pal kari la jore se na tomba nye tene matapa tene dog narwa tene che du kondu ba to la ya yo mare tene me popa cho tene me kanya manjam ba zo yo gre se tende da la songa tende tomba ni se du jian me pa tene kanya me pe ge yente me pa jian me pa kanya me pa tende je la ko gu yo mare kande je la ko yo re se na tanda tene phagin chalwi ne mani pa ti magin ye pa ko yin par tu kunzo tende ge no ati charwa la tene tendong chuni ji ngo ti nye ge yo re.
Now, actually, there's a danger here. The danger is that when we hear the word emptiness, we will think that emptiness means nothingness. And so this danger it's actually really bad. If you understand emptiness as meaning that, that is not right. Like, once I met this person who was not a Buddhist. This person said to me, "What are you?" And I said, "Well, I'm a Buddhist monk." And he said, "You're a Buddhist monk? Well, Buddhism is terrible. You see, religion is something that is supposed to, inspire people, give faith, make them courageous, make them able to do things, fix the world, save the world, make them wonderful people. But you in Buddhism, all you talk about is emptiness, impermanence, suffering. You only talk about the bad things, the terrible things, and everyone's just going to get completely discouraged and unable to do anything at all because of that." But that's not really what it is, because emptiness does not mean nothing whatsoever. We shouldn't understand emptiness to mean that there are no qualities at all, there are no faults at all, there are no problems at all. That is not what we mean emptiness. The way we should understand emptiness is this: not finding my old father by searching for him means nothing but finding my old mother. Through spotting my old father on the lap of my mother, I hear that I, their child, am protected by these kind parents. And so it's when we look for the relative interdependence, we don't find them. That is the ultimate emptiness. That is their nature. So that is how we need to understand emptiness.
Tene ta te ya chaja chimbo to zopa chimbu ge nilu go on to se na senji ngo la ta ge yo la senji ngo la ta ka so la tene sen la ta na jian mandu sampan ro ji ng re la jian mandu sambati ge sem te me pa re se na me pa ma re tene te tanda ndan na so ate phagin chalwe na mani pa te sem te ka ba do te ne mani pa te tene mani pati magin ye pa ko imbarantu besi ten seni gnelu te ta tene nye ge yore la tene nye pa imbecherna tene ame pone ne pagin ye besi du tanda semte tene ngo rangin ji madu pati tela tene senji ngo ni de nye ge yore la tene ni na pamatin ji ponga joki se du tene tige semte ngo tomba imba rangin salwa imba te sal sam ngo tomba ge tene rangin salwa la madripa rangin salwa te ngo tomba la madripa te ni mangalwa te la tene te chetawa yendo to ne tene nyem batam chi rangin ki he number to bangem batam chi rangin ki he ne tene koru dungal le jogi ore la teacher na pamatin ji ponga jogi sundi takap ndar tanda kan sumare se na toni chuji engi nelu la tene sumare la tene ngaranso chozu ge mengo la tene tak pechi se pe kapsala tene senji nelu la tene ta tende sin gom gamne korvene le job to ba te yung yo are.
Now, when we practice this in Mahamudra, in Dzogchen, we look at the nature of the mind. And when we look at the essence of the mind, it's not established as anything. We can't find anything that's there. But that which can't be established as anything, is it nothingness? It's not nothingness. And so that's the same as saying here, not finding my old father by searching for him. We look for where the mind is. We can't find it anywhere. This means nothing but finding my old mother. And so through not finding the mind, that is the same as finding the way the mind actually is. Through spotting my old father on the lap of my mother. And so this mind is, in its essence, is not established as anything. And because of that, we find the essence of the mind. And so I hear that I, their child, am protected by these kind parents. And so here the mind is, the essence of the mind is empty. Yet its nature is clear. It is just mere clarity, but it is still empty. That emptiness does not prevent it from being naturally clear. That clarity does not prevent it from being naturally empty. And so that is just how it is. And so we can then meditate upon that and realize it. When we realize that, then naturally all of the afflictions will be subdued. Naturally all of our bad thoughts will be subdued, and we will be protected from all the suffering of samsara. So what is said here is it's talking about the emptiness that is the nature of the Dharma expanse. And what we use in the instructions on Mahamudra and Dzogchen is the nature of the mind. We meditate upon that. And through that, we are able to liberate ourselves or protect ourselves from the sufferings of all the places in samsara.
Tene ta te ta sunju ko wa je so ta te tendre ko zu tendre je no to dang dang dong ni de len je du ye ba de la ko wa che par chi je ke chul de so ma de la ta te je so te ta bu ko wa che ne tene tong tong ten ju ni bo de la ni hi che par che je ke chul de so ma de la ji min ye min je a me yin re 조조 땡중 그 멜론노라 선바 맵출지 예예 라테 냠방한데는 또제 마요세 제메 예메 세두다티 그 추니 동반이 동 추진 근저 땡르지 노아니데 제리베세나 제마리 제 무부 넘바 노그 넘바 제다 제 동니 그 넘바라 샤르게요 yin rebesena yin mare tini ngo lenje du yore la timin yemin je ame yin re jojo tenjung ge melon no ta te tender ge no tini nyom de condition song ge yore sena perna tini tender je no te melon da bo je yena jojo tenjung te ta tanda pinjo gembala pe gane jojo tenjung te tini pe ni zang da ta ti su jin paramasena pe ni jojo tenjung te ngune tenda che jojo te pe tangbo che pe ni ba de melon da bo che la jojo te pe de melon da bo che la pe gane sinba metsuru chi yeye nda te teni te ngune harge yo arbesena harge yo mare sinba me betsuru chi ta perna melon ga no zuni harna yo tsuru zuya yo arbesena zuya yo mare zuya yo mare te yena yatna ngune zuni harge yo arbesena harge yo are la yeye nda te nyamba ngande na toje ma yu kunzo tenri je no ate to lento tentam chuni je amate ye bate ama yo ju ge ta ji de hira se ma so ma yu de ngaranga ha ko ma so tenga padul ha ma go are la ni te tanda kana yo are sina tnara yo are so.
And so that is talking about how we develop the realization, to develop the understanding of this. We understand how the understanding that that the relative appearance and the ultimate emptiness come together, that they go together. So now that's developing understanding of this, and then after we develop that understanding, we have the part how we develop the certainty in the union of the emptiness and interdependence, the way in which pointing out the union of emptiness and dependent origination, free from being one or many, occurs subsequent to such an investigation. So the text reads, being neither one nor other, the face of my mother and the mirror of my elder brother depend in origination. In a way that cannot be grasped, seems to be so very present, but lunatics like me lack the engagement to explore it. And so being one nor the other, this means with the ultimate Dharma nature, the ultimate nature of all phenomena, and the relative interdependence. Are these one and the same? They're not one and the same. One is the thing. One is an impermanent thing that appears. The other is emptiness, the ultimate nature. Well, are they different? Are they other? They're not really other. They're always together. They're always right there. And so then it says, this appears in the mirror of my elder brother dependent origination. And so here the dependent origination, interdependence, is compared to a mirror, and it's also compared to Big Brother too. So Big Brother's, the elder brother is an example for the interdependence, as is the mirror. It's like a double example for these two. What they both are representing is interdependence. And so when things occur and when things appear, then how is it that they appear? It's like they occur in a mirror in a way that cannot be grasped. They seem to be so very present. In a way that cannot be grasped, it's like when we see a reflection in a mirror. Can you reach out into the mirror and grab onto that reflection? You can't really grab. There's nothing to grab onto in that reflection. But does the reflection still appear? The reflection does still appear, even though you can't grasp it in the same way. And so just in the same way, together with the relative interdependence is the mother in emptiness. But we just have not examined it before. We have not looked in it in any way. So because we have not looked at it up to this point, we have not come to know how it is. But where is it? It's right there.
Tene ta te tabu te kandisi to yore sena. Te tabu chuni kete tanda tene melong non de chari yore de nyamba ngande ke tajuma jore. Tajuma jong kindla tene kandisi to yore sena. Tene ta te yung top tawa te tempe yung gomba lonso. Tene yung gomba te la tene top ke sorti sonrela. Tene te yung ludrup da raji hyalchem longkur nyambal nimbo yi chahi tangwe thorin cholwa ye kale hyol ni lenji nepa ye magin thong re sen. Ta tangbo chitang chutam chi toni jarang yin ba ti su sungwa re sen na. Tongbo songji jam den de ji heraji paru de tsimben do yin ont sungwa re. Ta ti heraji paru de tsimben do jendrin du somla sopa. Ta te tabu ge tanda ndo yin ont sungwa re la. Tene ta te ji solo su sungwa re sen na. Tene tenchu ge non sungwa re la. Tenchu ge tangbo te ta heraji paru de tsimben do. Yom heraji paru de tsimben do tanda ngaranzo. Tanda jepe ont sena mbom se. Ta haloka mbom je yepa. Tela poti chuni yepa yor. Ta te je sola tele du zam de sunga te nyet nga tongpa shoge yor la. Tele haloka trini da tongta nga yor. Tela lebom je ont sena poti som yor. Tene te dupe ont sena ji tongpa shoge yor. Ji tongpa te la tene kande tanda haloka tongta ji yor. Tela lebom je ont sena poti jay yor. Ta te shinto dupa te kande re sena hiram nimbo re. Hiram nimbo ta tanda ngaranzo kapkala samdo sege yor. Kapkala hiram nimbo sege yor. Hiram nimbo noni ta chutam ji ke toni te tempa ta te shinto dupa sunga re la. Ti ke tenda la kari yor re sena ngu ten toni ke ramba ta tene beren salam ke nong ya ni yor la. Mutin Tony Gambasi, Tenizo, Tombani, Zome, Drame, Treme, Rome, Rizame, Chume, Hipala Sobagoni, Chutanti, Tony Imbal Tembari. Ti Gomba Derba, Tilhoban, Luduk Gomba Derba. Tini Beren Salam Ganam Yosegi Yorella, Beren Tilla, Ti Tati Tombani, Chung, Bomda, Nitring Atompata, Tini Tanda G Tombenon, the Tembari Visina, Tony Choba Maimba. Tony Toba Latine, Salam Debutsorte, Sakandisi Togari, Lamkandisi Dregari, Tiki Ponza Kandisi Pangari, Ponza Tenzo Pangni, Drevu Kandisi Togari, Telatine, Tini Tati Sanjiki Yentin Tenzo Kandisi Jegi Yoresini, Ti Salvuru Tembatella, Tini Beden Sadan Lamjirmbarella, Beden Salam Jermbati Kandisi Tembarisena Tanda. Hiraji Paru Ngentu Jinganani, Tinijasa Shambangin Tembarella, Tatela, Hiranibundo Tela, Mutin, Tony Garbatem Baton, Beran Salam Ganon got them by New Yorella. Tinani, Tatandazo, Candinanga Yoresena, Mutin Tony Garbate Temper. Mutin Tony Garbati, Loban Luduk Temper. Loban Luduk, Candisi Tembarisena, Tanda, Umazawa Hirapsi, thank you. Jomna, Tini Tela Tini Oma Risu Tusi, Ti and Lock Tabu, thank you, Nga, Zawati the Drow, Tati, thank you, Tini. Tati Tomchiga non Tony Tempega, repeat Drupni, Tembarella, Tini teacher na, Tati Zo, the Kari Tembares, Chutamchi ranking Madrup Tombares, Tati Capsula, Chitanga, Mepalvatsu, Candid Hongi Oresena, Mupon the Tomchi ranking Tupare. Dewa ina ranking tupare samne dewa chol dunghali ranking tupare samne dunghal ji dona sem tene pe chone nar dunghal ta tinde yungi yorela tele tharwe ge thapte kandri sena tan tom pe tomba ni tan tom chuni ge damba te ta tanda kamdar amagemo sungi yorela amagemo te togu ge yore amagemo te topu ge thapla to pangam papa ludu ge repeat drup ni temba tela Ludupji, Khenchen Longkur, Tatombo Ludup. Tati Ludup Gombati, Sutalwari Sena, Tinitela, Chitanga, Tat Gomban Desol, Mandawachuare, Tinani, Uma Tanjuru Tawatena Papa, Tilman Dawatapa in Bichen. Dawatapi Salkin, Jepa, Tiniti Tony, Tendrigan Noani, Sondun Jupu, Sorti, Young Tapa. Tene tati tembarella, tene Khenchen, Takon number Nigi Khenchen, Longa Gorne, Tapenangaranzo, Luntrin Davote, Tangne, Tandandavotina, email Davoji Tang, Tati, Jagar, Tene, Nalinda, Nene, Tanda Con, Jonja Rolpe Dorje, John Rose and Aliun to Pecala, email Davoji Tang Jones, Khenchen Longkur. Jambal Nimboi Sahi Tangwe Sena, Jambal Nimboi Tati Longa Corio, email Tang Yabate, Tene Jetson Capaga. Jambal Nimbo Sena Jetson Capachuga Yorella. Jetson Capaga Sahi Tangwe se. Tati Cherala email in Jorduga se. Tene Huma Satan se Dutella. Huma Janaga Lusola Candy Chegi Yoresena, Yeko Yor. Ye could tell Mendro Magupa, Shapurenche, Sanity la so, Te Sanity, Yenda la so, Sunny Yenda in Tango, the Sanity, Huma Sosatan Pordo, Human Prosatini Tango, Yajima Sosatan, Tang, Tatin the Chegi Yosarella. Tinitella, Satil, Tini Yeko Guna Kangwala Yigita, Tiniti Sati Tango, Yigete, Tinisacha Yenda Tanaki. Te Yendola, Tiniji Zonkapaga, Tinite, Changkya Rolpe Dorje, Sahi, Tang Yore, that things under in the telephone Tang Yore, Tacharan, Lodan Luduk email in Jorduga. That is Sahi Tangway, Tining Tahako, that in Lodan Luduk email now carry your sin, Abba Amaning Neta Yore.
And so how is it that we realize this? Well, the meaning of the Dharma nature is something that appears. It's like this interdependence appearing in the mirror. And so this is here. This is how it's pointed out, in which the union how we pointed out. So we need to realize this, and in order to realize this, we realize it through the meaning and the intention of the right scriptures and the philosophy. And so this is taught about in the next section, which reads, "The legacy of Nagarjuna and Chandrakirti has been entrusted to the wind, and a bird has been dispatched from Manjushri's very heart, or to Manjushri's very heart. Through that I left behind the hardships of searching for my mother far away, and I hope to see her being right here with me." And so generally we have when we think about all phenomena as being emptiness, and when we think about how all phenomena being emptiness, well, who is it that taught everything is emptiness? Well, the Buddha taught this in the sutras on Prajnaparamita in particular. He taught the extended, the medium length, and the short length sutras. And so these are the sutras that they're taught about. And then later, who was it who continued to teach about them? They were taught about in the treatises. But first they were taught in the sutras and the sutras of Prajnaparamita. The sutras of the Great Mother Prajnaparamita. And of these sutras, there is the long sutra of Prajnaparamita, which is in the 100,000 verses of Prajnaparamita, which is 100,000 verses long, and it takes 12 volumes. And then there is the somewhat shorter version, the middle length version, which is 25,000 verses on Prajnaparamita, which is 25,000 verses long and takes 3 volumes. And then there's the short one, which is only 8,000 verses long and only takes 1 volume. But there is a really extremely concise presentation of that, and that is the Heart Sutra. The Heart Sutra, sometimes it's called the Profound Sutra, sometimes it's called the Heart Sutra. But this primarily teaches that all phenomena are empty, and it teaches this very concisely. And so what is the meaning of this sutra? Well, when we talk about these sutras, there are 2 aspects to them. There is the explicit presentation of emptiness, and there is the implicit presentation of the paths and levels. So the explicit teaching of emptiness is such as the teaching from the Heart Sutra. There's no form, no feeling, no sound, no taste, no touch, no dharmas, and so on. Teaching that there is that everything is empty. And then Nagarjuna continued to comment upon this and explained this in his treatises. And then there is also the implicit teaching on the paths and levels. And so what is this? Well, this is teaching that the emptiness, it's not just merely emptiness. The sutras on Prajnaparamita in 100,000 or 25,000 or 8,000 verses all also primarily teach the emptiness, but through that they also teach, well, how is it that you progress along the paths? When you realize this, how do you progress along the path? How do you eliminate the stains that need to be eliminated? And when you eliminate those stains, then what are the results that you attain? What are the qualities of Buddhahood that you attain? And so that presentation of that is the implicit presentation of the paths and levels. And so where is this implicit presentation of the paths and levels clearly explained? It's explained in the Ornament of Clear Realization by Maitreya. And so here it's the same thing. It's talking about the explicit. We have the implicit teaching of emptiness, or excuse me. So there's the explicit teaching of emptiness, and there's the implicit teaching of the paths and levels. And so how is it that we actually come to really understand emptiness? Well, it's as Nagarjuna taught, it is also, and then Nagarjuna taught, and it's also as here taught. But when Nagarjuna taught it, he taught it in his treatises on Madhyamaka, the middle way. He taught the fundamental verses of the middle way, and then also his other treatises. He wrote the 6 collections of logic, and these are the fundamental verses of the middle way, plus the 5 secondary or subsidiary treatises teaching this. So these all primarily teach the emptiness. They gradually, they teach how we can come to understand this. They teach how all phenomena cannot be, but naturally, by their very nature, cannot be established. And so, this is something, the legacy of Nagarjuna and Chandrakirti has been entrusted to the wind. And so here, Nagarjuna taught this, and then later it continued to be taught, teaching that, so normally the way we think about things, we think that things truly exist. We think they're really there. And so because we think that there's something there, when we see something happy, something nice, then we like it, we want it, we think it's true, and we want it for ourselves. When we see something that is painful, then we want to get rid of it. And then we experience the suffering that comes out of that, and we naturally are overwhelmed or overcome by the suffering. And the way to realize, or to free ourselves from that, is to realize that all phenomena are emptiness. If we realize that ultimately all phenomena are emptiness, then we are free to that. That is what is taught here through the examples of the father and the mother. And this is what in his treatises Nagarjuna established through logic. And then he gave these teachings, and they continued to be taught. And so who is it who explained these teachings? The person who primarily explained them according to the consequentialist or prasangika view is Chandrakirti. So Chandrakirti taught these very clearly and very in great detail. He taught how everything is emptiness. He taught how emptiness and interdependence are interrelated and unified. He taught this very clearly and properly. And then it's like this has been entrusted to the wind. The legacy of Nagarjuna and Chandrakirti has been entrusted to the wind. So nowadays we don't need to entrust these messages to the wind. We can just send an email and it will get there. But in the old days, send the email from Nalanda up to the five-peaked mountain where Manjushri is. Send that email over there, and then over there, the bird has been dispatched to the essence of Manjushri. So here it says from Manjushri is very hard. It probably should read to the essence of Manjushri, and the essence of Manjushri is Tsongkhapa. And so it's like Tsongkhapa has got this email from Nagarjuna. And so nowadays we get email, but in the old days in India, it was harder because, they didn't have email like that. So what they would do is they would use carrier pigeons. You'd take a bird, and you've got this bird, and then you write the letter, and then you tie it around the bird's leg, and then you send the bird off, and you hope that the bird goes to the person who you want to get the message, and then the person, maybe they get the message. They get the message, they read the message, they feed the bird, and then they send the bird back to you like that way. And so here, Tsongkhapa, it's like this bird has been dispatched to the essence of Manjushri. And so here, it's like this letter got here. It's like, nowadays we'd phone. It's like Changkya Rolpe Dorje is calling up Tsongkhapa and saying, hey, did you get Nagarjuna's message? Yeah, I did get Nagarjuna's email. And you know what our Nagarjuna's email said? He said it's like, it's like our father, and we're finding our father and our mother. It's real great.
Dati tendala kari yoresena, tharing solwaye kali hyolne, lenji nepaye magin thonres. Tene dati email tang, telephone tang, dati ndisine, tharing bolan ro maguba. Dati nzo me na tene sachatana landro. Tene kawando abama la to dati de gogere warela. Tene abama ga natural content to he tanda yapoto tanda zubo debodo son hako gupata tene rela. Yena ya tene thorin bolon ro maguba. Lenji ne paye magin thon re tangara da nyomdo yebe amage mo chuji ye ne lude. Tene ludub lenda dawa top lenda tene Tsongkhapa lenda tene magin de
And so the meaning of this is that through that I left behind the hardships of searching for my old mother far away, and I hope to see her being here being right here with me. And so it's like we can send emails, we can send telephones, and we don't have to go far away. It's like in the old days, like you'd have to go over there, you'd have to walk over there, and you'd have to see, hi, Mom and Dad, how you doing? Are you all right? Is everything going fine? Are you happy and healthy and everything all right? And so it's no longer necessary to go over there like that. We don't have to go far away. It's like the mother, the emptiness, is right here with us. We got the message from Nagarjuna, we got the email from Chandrakirti and the phone call from Tsongkhapa, and it's like, our old mother is right here, right with us. And so let's leave it there for this afternoon. And if anyone has any question, let's please ask.
Thank you very much, Rinpoche. A long time ago I heard this statement from, I think I was reading a book on Hinduism, and it said, God needs man. And that makes a lot of sense to me. So maybe you've been explaining this, but my question is, interdependence needs emptiness. Does emptiness need interdependence?
The causal ngomong yeshubike shunlo che na causal na fa control na causal midi gogu trouble sumare then on the pe goju yabo yore ta de gran na shinge then on a tender la causal inchiminchi causal tomani gogure ta tombani de la ne tender the inchiminchi gogure be
te yeshube la kan ju gogure sonte be yapu ingdola tene te yapu imbe junsin de kande jire na tanda ngara jidanga muslim ge mengo hiba hiba yo mare te hina ya warnasil kushin sung muslim ki yo te taga jangan so keche hi du de la tene korang ge tene ngarang ge takjin zan hi ge mare takjin hi na mengo kor tu ge te hina ya alang go kor tu ge mare Kong Tafa Hako Gris. Think Zainda, Yojutan, Tate, Tendegala, Tenki Poet, Tempeke, Yetavati in detail. Tenimella, Intimita, Flati Guguduha, Flati, Natinity, San Latin, O Talag in Chendogre, Rungumare, Sampeke, Sana Tenki Poet, Jungrella, Titsana, Telati Pe, Pembayor. Tanda kunzo tendre don tanda chuni ni de kandi jiresena kunzo tendre de la tanda parting chutin sena tagara tati kunzo tendre de la tene tanda toni de gugi yobare te mena tene mu potonji dodo re tene dungali na yom panya yomare dewa na yom toya yomare tene tati kon talu du song yore kon la tomba ni ruwa Tela Jim Ruins, Tony Natini Kanga, no Andamanda Charcho Yore, Tony Maina Tinizan, Kaya Yungio Mare, Sonrella, teacher na Tony Kunzo Tendrigan Noala, Tanda Tony de Gugior, Tanda Tony de Toparsepala, Kunzo Tendrigan Noala, Tin Togiore Mata, Kunzo Tendri de Menatini, Jam Patanda Tomba Sonchi is a kid, Tendra Bajil John Rugiore, that in the inside.
Generally, when in theistic traditions they talk about God, it's actually really helpful. And the reason is that, actually, I don't know too many Muslims, but I do know a silk merchant from Varanasi who is Muslim. And in having conversations with him, he said to me, I never lie. And the reason I don't lie is because, you might be able to fool a man, but you're never going to be able to fool Allah. And so, in the same way, and so he's very careful about it. He has a lot of mindfulness and awareness about this, and he doesn't tell lies or fool anyone. And so this is really good. Having an idea of a God is really helpful for making people be careful and mindful and so forth. So this is really wonderful. So we do need to have the idea of a God sometimes to help us to be careful, mindful, and aware. So having the idea of a God can be very helpful. Now here, when we're talking about relative interdependence, interdependence and the ultimate emptiness, then it's like we said before. It's like the relative interdependence. Everything depends upon one another. So we need to have that ultimate emptiness. It's important for that to be there. If there were no interdependent emptiness, then nothing else would be able to appear. It's as the great Nagarjuna said, for whatever is feasible for emptiness, that it's feasible for everything. And so if anything is going to happen, it has to be empty. And because there is emptiness, all of the different appearances can appear. And so if there were no emptiness, then there'd be no way. We'd think there'd be real, true things that we could get and bring ourselves happiness. But that's not how it works. And so for that reason, for the relative interdependence, we absolutely have to have the ultimate emptiness. And in order to realize the ultimate emptiness, we have to rely on the relative interdependence. And so for that reason, we do need to have both the emptiness and the relative interdependence. If we did not have that relative interdependence, it would become just blankness, nothingness at all. Yeah, so basically your question is exactly that. It's exactly.
Rinpoche, would you say something about the term Chögyé Ying and why, in particular, the word Ying is used? Why this way of abiding, or Neluk, is called Ying? Chögyé Ying said, Neluk la Ying labgabi Jimsende Gabdala Tane Kanti Kandidaramach.
The Chögyé Ying said, Ying Kinela Yura Ying Shepi Jinsen Kayure. Kaso Dundangi Nelo de la Kaso Ying Shepi Jinsen Kayure.
Ying Sinkite La Tanda Koju Warela. Per Nangaranso Palviki Lasena, Tujundu Pejetam, the Nonki Ying say yore. Nonki Ying say to tell a Tomba Yimbata. They are Pe Jachimbu Yimba. Tini Nonki Ying say to ta non the Kanam person said, but the Nonki Ying la person. Tini ya Nonka Chichi ta Chindavote Kanka Chasa, Nonka Taina person of the Kogi or the Latinite, Shinto Jachi, things upon the Vote. Tini Kanga, Tiniti la Kogi or the Chuchi Yang said to Chutamchi Madu Patoni, Tini Pe Jachimbo, Chutamchi la Chap Depa, Tini Chutamchi la Chap Jane, Tinite Chutamchi Nelu Impatilla Kodi Tela Chuchi Yang.
When we say the ing in Tibetan, or expanse, the expanse of dharmas, then there's something to understand there. Generally in Tibetan, in ordinary Tibetan, we talk about like the expanse of the sky. It's empty, it's huge, it's vast. And so it's this idea of this expanse of the sky. Like you talk about an airplane. The airplane flew away. Where did it go? Into the expanse of the sky. Or, the bird flew off into the expanse of the sky. So it's like this huge, big, profound expanse of the sky. And so when we talk about the expanse of dharmas, the dharma dhatu, the dharma expanse, then this is like the nature of all phenomena. The empty nature is huge. It pervades all phenomena. This is the phenomena of the nature of all phenomena, the way all phenomena are. And so it's like this expanse.
Rinpoche. In passing, you mentioned, talk a bit about relative interdependence, and mentioned two aspects of interdependence. One was pure and one was impure. And I'd like to know more about those two. I don't know if they're similar or different. Or
Dela kazo rinpoche kunso tenda gi nawala ane dapecha da ma dapecha ni yopegi nane kazo deni ane kazo deni ki kebra kayena deni karing ozengore
kunso tenda gi nawala ma dapa sedu tela tandang aranso susuji kapje ta chitang chi nawa nanga namto ta tenzola kuzo modop tenderela tintia ta che no la tene namto che nonga namto la tene che no la njurwa ta tende raboche dungal ke rangin to nyemo rangin rabo te modop no namba natso ba yarge yore la tela tender kunzo tender ke no modop no la kunzo tender ke no top no la kan yarge yore sena ngarazo ngambarzo par ta sangje pa ina enda truba to pa ina enda drebu top kausala ta kan yung jore drebu top se du kan yung jore sena te toni he du tela ata chen me ba pha ton ba yarndro anda bo ji yung re sena te yarndro anda bo yung yo mare tini sangji jam den de to i hi jing wo de charge yo re la tela sangje se du yenten ni den ge yo re la yenten ni de Pāngā pōngsam tsōpa, tōpa pōngsam tsōpa nīki yāntīn tēngi yawar. Pāngā pōngsam tsōpa sēdi tā ngā rāntsō dēdū ka nōwa tēlā chādōm ōngsam lā sōpa tēnzō pā xēne tēne tōnī ka nāmbā lā chūrzu. Tēlā pāngā pōngsam tsōpa. Tā tī pāngā pōngsam tsōpa tēlā tēne kārē hōng pēn tōga yawar sēn tōpa pōngsam tsōpa tēga yawar lā. Tōpa pōngsam tsōpa tēne chēn tsē Nusam sungi warela, Sanji took a hitching over tela, Yentin Karitogi or Tangaranzo Gom Jab, Druba Jab, the Sony Tat and Tuya and Ravula Chetogi or Sena, didn't change Nusam de Yentin de Togi or Chin said to tell Latane, Tatamchi, Chetawa, Nelu and Chin, Chetawa, Tony Gitayan Chin, Chin Hepa Gunzo Tendrigan Mata, Sentin Corvet Dungal, New Atom, Sentin Corvet Dungal, Chopper Sipik tabla sopa ta yentin tamji jon chen chenpa te chenpa tsam ribesena chenpa tsam mare tela tene tetar mato senjin tamji la thupmi ba me niji chenpo tong temba yimbe chemna tene tela tsewa te khandi jiresena tsewa te che phenya me ba kasinga amajige tene himeji hison segen himeji hidu tel pe dungal chimbo chongso segen dungal chimbo chongso tel la tene tate tene niji chimbo chi so te tel chorwa nombo chongso segen te tawe na dungal te chap to yo mare te sanji chom den de dungal te chap to bando tene Teta Dungali Tapa, Japtup, Nubaye, Pata, Sentin, Perna Dacha, Tempa Zopo Sonji Jam Tinjitin to Sene, Tombe Chula, Tene Casiti Jam, this Sentin Samji Machapa Canditi Tarbato, Sentin Samji Machapa, Samji Machapa, Nintu Dacham Compoto, Samji Machapa, Tat, Shonju Sempe Compoto, Samji Machapa, Sonho Doji to be Chugo like you, Tombe Chu Nonso, Telatin and Drevo Topata, Tindig, Dungali Chop, Nubaye, but in Chinsi Nusum. Dentro tembatela, tarpetende seguire. Tia, Dodunda, Denver to Varibesina, Maritoni, Nambala, Charnet, Tinitins in Nusum, Tingu.
In terms of the impure appearances of relative interdependence, these are what we experience now as ordinary individuals. We have the perceptions of external things, we have the internal thoughts. And so these are the impure relative appearances. We have the perception of external things, and because of that we have internal thoughts about them, and then our internal thoughts transform how we see, how we perceive the external things. Because of that we experience the afflictions, we experience suffering and problems, and that is the impure relative appearances. But there are also the pure relative interdependence. And so, whether you attain the state of Buddhahood or the state of accomplishment, whatever, when you attain a result, well, what does it happen? Does it mean that you just sort of dissolve into emptiness? It doesn't mean that at all. With the Buddha, there is his essence of wisdom. The essence of his wisdom mind continues to happen. And when you talk about a Buddha, then a Buddha has two qualities. The two qualities of the Buddha is that he is purified and perfected. And so he has purified himself he has the excellent abandonment of all these stains. He has given up he has seen the nature of all phenomena as they are, and as a result he has given up all the afflictions, subdued all of his and greed and aversion. And because of seeing that the greed and aversion are essentially emptiness, then how does that help him? Well, it helps him develop the qualities of realization, the excellent realization. The excellent realization are the three powers of wisdom, love, or the three qualities of wisdom, love, and power. So how does it help to have this essence of the wisdom mind? What is the quality of this? It's when you meditate upon the nature of how things are and you see how that are, then you attain these three qualities of wisdom, love, and power. Wisdom means knowing all things as are, knowing the empty nature of all things, seeing that just as it is. And then, but at the same time, you also see all the various ways that this appears to all the relative sentient beings through relative interdependence. You see how they suffer in samsara. You see how you can help save them from the suffering of samsara. And so you have this wisdom, and do you have that wisdom? So you have that wisdom that sees everything as they are. But do you just have that wisdom? You don't just have that wisdom, because you also develop great compassion for all those sentient beings who have not realized that. So this is the love. And with this love, what is this love like? There was someone who came to me, a mother whose daughter's cat had just died, and the daughter was inconsolable, and the mother was not able to do anything for her daughter. Of course, she felt great compassion, but she wasn't able to help her in any way. Is the Buddha's love like that? The Buddha's love is not like that. The love has the power to protect all sentient beings. And so our teacher, the great and perfect Bhagavan Buddha, who appeared in this world and had great vast dharma activity that has brought an inconceivable number of of beings to liberation. He has brought many beings to the liberation of the Shravaka, the disciples of the Buddha. He's brought them to realize the levels of the Bodhisattva. Through the turning the wheel of the secret mantra Vajrayana, he's brought them to practice that and attain results of that. So this is the power of the wisdom, or this is the wisdom, love, and power that the Buddha has. And that is what is meant here by the pure interdependence. But is this pure interdependence? Is this a thing? Is it a solid, real thing that we can find someplace? It is not. The essence of this is emptiness. That is what this wisdom, love, and power are like.
단다 넘버 상지백 로주 가르 대진 담바이나 디나랑 좀빌랭라 되네 넘버 상지백 따완 생긴게 매 둥추르 좀 요아레 시티들라더 담바이나 미나 메히 둥추르 좀 요아레 라더라 다 디기 찌세나 되네 상지 좀 된데세나 로니동 아자든 아죠 라 로기 요아레라 디렌라 되네 둥추르 좀 제나 되네 둥추르 좀 지마 잡아 동처를 야동 점범 리동도라 대답을 상지게 틀네데 대 남바 상지비 주고를 휴바 주념스 램바 다 된데게 네바 상지면 잡아려라 베나 단다 니베 가야가 힘이 희한다 보지 이나야 힘이 때 히두텔라 카루라 접토기 요아르비스는 접토기 요 말에때 이나야 아마게 모데 모라 남바 상지비 주고를 휴바 인두텔라 멜럼 잡 니지에 검 tene ngo dang tende sedu tela ta tene himeti so chatni tanda ya langju ya pandroju ya patu grebesena togi yo marete ina yo ko hidu tel tabe saben ge poja ko kansina hijuri hiju indu tel tene te manam ya boji dab ngo ya boji dang ngo tenzo anchu lo ko ne tabe saben jilla yo ne mahum pala ke tarbaton tamji je ko bon toju ya baje ni ba yo re samate.
I've been reading a Buddhist history book, and in this book it says that, I don't know if it's true or not, but it says that in this world there are 300 million people who hold the Buddhist view. And so you think about that. It's like, the Buddha appeared in this world 2,500 years ago, and now there are 300 million people who hold this view. It's like, and so for each, for 205,000 years ago, there are 300 million people and 300 million people. What incredible number of sentient beings? It must be billions or gazillions of sentient beings who've been helped by the activity of the Buddha, who've been able to enter the gate of the Dharma, who've had the power to practice the Dharma. And so I just gave the example of a mother whose daughter's cat died. She didn't have the power to help. Maybe she didn't have the power to protect the cat right then. But But if she made aspirations, prayers, recited mantras, meditated on compassion, then you might not. Then doing this, reciting mantras to the dead kitty is not going to bring the dead kitty back to life. But it's not. It's so. But the cat has died, and of course it's dead. But it plants a seed of liberation within the being. You make the aspiration prayers. You recite the mantras. You recite the mantras in the cat's ear, and this is a seed of liberation that can be planted within the being, and this has the potential to bring the cat to the ultimate result of liberation in the future.
Maybe we should just leave it at that. That seemed to have said everything, the answer to that question.
But if you have a question, please ask.
I'll go on anyway. Yesterday, Thrangu Rinpoche gave this wonderful talk in which he explained, especially in the penultimate verse of the lineage prayer, about where not anything, nothing whatever, but anything, but
yeah,
it was a new translation, so I don't have exact words, but can arise from it. And he explained it as, pardon me, he explained it as emptiness doesn't obstruct appearance, and appearance doesn't obstruct or prevent emptiness. And he said, I believe that if you could, I'm putting words in his mouth now. If you sustain that, if you sustain that realization, then the way it would apply to the next line, which I've never understood, which is about how nirvana and samsara are inseparable. I was understanding it as that they then are this emptiness appearance, and they are not something real. So that if you realize they are not something, if they are not real, they are inseparable then. And he also said, as he went along, he was going very fast, and I just heard that if you don't know this, you're going to cycle again and again and again forever. But if you perhaps don't give way to thoughts, that you won't.
The Kasang Thrangu Rinpoche Songche Kaso de la Kaso Dojichang Tuma Kaso la Chia Mayan Chirian Charwala Shepe Kap de la de Ton de Sumbe Kap la Kaso Tompani de Kaso Nama Gagyo Mare. The Nawake Kaso Tompayan Tompanian Gagyo Mare. De Dabo Kyongna, Tene Kaso Kode Erme Topola. Kongi Kari Sunes and the Tibetan de Nangwadang Tompani. Erdmebere, de Dempa Yomatis, Dempa Dubriomatis, de Sam Totna, Tene Caso Tavale, Caso de Chasan, Caso Cordi de Ermechagres, Caso Nichalo, Caso Dempa Mayambla, Sumba in the Tamble, Ermepatao, Chagres, de Hamokona, Yanja, Cola, Cham, Drogures, de Caso Namto, Caso Namto Giondo Mashorna, de Kiona, Yapurabores, et Abusonso, Turgainaga.
Tela tatanda candere se de no ton tomba tia mai tia charwala se tia mai pati ta toni chuni tandam ka tempa ta bujirela tia charwati chuchin kunzo tender ka no anda bujire ta teni songdun ju patering tering aranso tanda umetangul na ne sundu tela tene tia mai pati tanda amage moda bujirela Jian Charwati Abakavana, Tini Tati, non du Tela, Tini Tig, Tini Yom, the Linti, the Nipitanda, la Caricovi, 다 찌양 차러와티 단다 강 샤르데기 요레신 코로와가 넘바 샤르데기 찌양 마인 바데 칸데레신 돈이래라 돈이데 냥이는데 비찬다 보지래 다 디니 코른데 이르미데 디니 뇽도 예반다 보지래라 디니 뇽도 예바티 디니 인티미티 히나 디니 코르랑긴데 랑긴기 야 디니 제 냥이는데 베랑긴데 나섬 통다 딘데 임발라 코메도.
Here, when we talk about this, the appearance and emptiness, the not anything at all, yet arising as anything, not anything at all, that is emptiness. Yet arising, that is the ultimate Dharma nature. Yet arising as anything, that is the relative interdependence. And these two are together. It's like what we have been talking about in the Song of the Middle Way View. In the Song of the Middle Way View, the not anything at all, that's mom. And yet arising as anything, that's dad. And so these two are together. So mom and dad being together and inseparable are inseparable. So whatever arising as anything. Well, what is it that arises now? It's the appearances of samsara. Not anything at all. That's emptiness. That emptiness is the aspect of nirvana. These two are together. They come together. And if we know that these two are together and unified, then naturally the samsara will just naturally disappear, and samsara will become manifest. So it's the same thing.
Tela, teni hipa sedu tela koyaji yore. Then the tinenga tela hilu tela mambo yore. Koaga goni hia yore, nyamnyonga goni toya yore, teni kamba goni ngandi choya da namba som yore la. Tina ni koa zamji pengere sina konde yemi togmare. Koa zamji togmare. Te yendala nyamnyong zamji togmare sina nyamnyong zamji togmare. Ta kare gogore sina ngandi chorni. Teni tombo koaji tela teni nyamnyong topaji ne tela kamne teni tatu ngandi choro kapsala. Ten konde yemi togre wa.
So when we talk about knowing this, there are three ways we can know. We can understand it, we can experience it, and then we can habituate ourselves to it. And so does just understanding it, does that merely help us? It doesn't. We will not realize the inseparability of samsara and nirvana through that. And is just experiencing it going to help us? That's not going to help us either. That's not going to free us from it. What we need to do is we need to make it manifest through meditation. So first we have to understand it. Then we have to have some experience and then realization. And then we habituate ourselves to that. And through that we will be able to realize the union, the inseparability of samsara and nirvana.
Oi,